Welcome back, guys, to part 3, 4? I don't even know. Of the Big Bertha Motorhome Makeover. It's going to be a short one, just kind of a little update. You might have noticed, maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. I haven't posted in about a week and a bit. I was away all last week working, finishing a job. Just stayed working for my cousin. So I stayed at his house, wasn't home at all. During that time period, obviously, I didn't touch the camper, so nothing really changed. So I put in about half an hour, which doesn't sound like much, and it's not. You'll have to excuse me too. I'm in my Sunday best again. Usually when I come out here, I try to just throw on some work clothes, but I did a few things. Here, I think I'll kind of just walk you through it and show you what's next again. So we got this wall a little more ripped apart. I am going to rip out all the insulation and all that white kind of paneling stuff and put in probably just foam, like 1-inch foam. Get R10 or R12 if it's 2-inch maybe, whatever. I'm not really expecting to stay in this in the winter, so I don't need R20 or 30. And I mean, with some heat source in here and a decent insulation, I'll be fine. Yeah, we had this wall already kind of done. I ripped in to look at the tank. I think I'm going to replace that tank, the water tank underneath there, just so I know everything's kind of clean. Honestly, made a bit more mess than anything. And I thought I had those wires figured out, so we'll go out there here in a second. Right underneath there is where the generator is, and I assumed that from that little access kind of cubby, I could see all these wires coming down, but I can't. I can see a few black harnesses, but that is none of them. They're all kind of bunched up, and I'm sure one of the harnesses is, but I don't want to start ripping on them just yet. So we'll go outside, and I'll show you what I did out there. We took the bed out too. I got more wood to go in. So, again, another friggin' unreal day. I crawled underneath and started peeling out some insulation because I thought I'd be able to see where these wires come from. So I go into the generator panel, which, cubby, what do you want to call it? She's seen better days. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it is not functional. So what I'm going to do is rip this all out. I don't really need a generator. I'm going to put in a solar system, and I just don't really want something super old, electric, all these old corroded wires and whatnot. I think I'd breathe easier without it in. Do you hear that? You might not have, but that's a squirrel, and we'll talk about them in a second. So I assumed the wires would come out somewhere up under here. I can't find them anywhere, but I can see what? There's something I could see in here that I could see up into kind of the camper, but anyways, so there's a big black kind of full gauge wire going there. There's a couple sneaking up right here, that white one in that little junction box, but I can't really, and I climbed underneath, all the way underneath. Well, that's not gonna do anything, and I couldn't really see anything, so I was kind of hopeful that maybe when I slid underneath and looked up, I would see where that wire was coming down. I think it actually comes down just above this kind of panel, whatever it is, and runs over and either comes down right here or over there. So I'm not gonna get at that right now, but what I want to do is, this looks like kind of the mounting brackets here. I would love to just dismount this and take it off, and the nice thing is it seems stable enough that I'll have a kind of steel box here to put either a tank, my propane tank, or whatever it may be, just kind of another area. I just don't need this, I don't think. Okay, we'll head back in, show you the kind of back room, what I did. Not much, the bedroom, I guess, but, squirrel talk. So, look at this day, man. Although it was snowing yesterday, so I can't say anything. Currently, have a squirrel that's getting into my house somehow, and for whatever reason, he's, like, at the moment, he's set up above my bed, or above my bedroom. He's in the ceiling. He's not actually like in my physical room, he's in the walls or the ceiling. So for whatever reason, he's like nocturnal. Like, I don't hear him. I'm like relaxing for bedtime, go to sleep at 10 o'clock, might hear him, but then I'll wake up at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and just hear like just fucking scratching in my ceiling and like just little noises, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. And like, my only options are to either poison him, which then if he dies in the ceiling, he's gonna rot. Live trap him, which I live trapped one like a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and I don't know if it was him or not. I drove him like 5 minutes away, thought that'd be okay, and that night at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, there was another squirrel in the house. Now, whether it was him, the one I drove away or whether there's another one around. I don't know. But regardless, I have to do something because they can cause a lot of damage and actually risk fire. So we'll have to take care of that. I basically just made more of a mess in here. Yeah, so I got this panel off, just plywood. That one's ready to come down. But as you can see, there's a fucking million screws in each piece of plywood, which is outrageous because it's not like they're structural or like really need to be pinned on. And like honestly, there's probably almost 100 screws in that. That's a lie. It's probably like 50, but regardless, it's way too many. Because look at the floor. Like it's just littered in screws. And that's with me. I already swept some up. I also may have run a chainsaw into the wall, but we won't talk about that. Safety first. So there's literally just a million screws in each panel. And the last one I missed these two. And I don't know if it was glued on as well, but like I was trying to reef it off and I could not get it off the wall and couldn't figure out why. And on top of that, every screw head is painted. So when I try to put my drill bit in there, it just like kind of bounces and spins freely for a while and then finally takes bite when it rubs off all that paint. So it's just like every screw isn't just like in and out. And some of them are like 3-inch deck screws, some are just 2-inch. It's just complete overkill. And I mean, when you look around at this place, you can see it's kind of it's a DIY done bad. So it's a bit of a nightmare, but I'm actually pretty happy with what I see so far. This wall was already exposed, as you know. Oh yeah, and I exposed. This is the wall behind the shower with the plumbing. And again, everything looks good in there. I don't see any major like soft damage or well, like water damage to the studs. Like they're still rugged enough. And I think when I get a dehumidifier in here, I'll get this place completely cleaned out and I get a dehumidifier in here. I think when I get it dry, I will spray all these for mold and mildew and kind of have them, that's a dog. The fuck is that? Kind of have them resistant to that. And then I think once I get some foam in there and some vapor barrier, I'll be pretty content with that. I was expecting to see some real big soft spots. I haven't found any yet in the walls. I assume that probably the base of the walls there's going to be a bit. Now I'm going to cut a bit of the floor out, which is not a horrible thing. Like I'm laying down floor, so like I'm not too worried. The other thing I found was there is some metal framing up there, and I do believe I've seen a kind of cross member or two in the ceiling where I poked up in the ceiling over there. So I might not have to even buy the metal that I thought I was going to need to. So that is a small victory. The next day, I think we're going to tackle the ceiling, but that's kind of a different monster. So we'll go back to the front here. I got to change up the angle. It's been the same angle every time. Will it stay here? Yeah. Okay, so, well, I feel like I'm high, but whatever. Yeah, so not much has changed. I've honestly made a bit more mess than anything, but once I clean up the mess, rip out this insulation and stuff, like I'm kind of starting to see it take shape. The big thing is just the ceiling. And this, like, it's a shame because, oh my God, I have to show you this. Look at these screws right here. On an angle through there. There's two right there. Into the other one. Another one going across. There's just screws going everywhere. So that's the DIY job for sure. That maybe he didn't quite have what he needed to be doing this by himself. Not that I do, but I think like I said, false confidence. Yeah, so I'm making a bit more of a mess than anything, but I think we'll start to see some changes when I get back. So that leads me into I'm going to be away again for a week. Today is Monday? Yeah. Tomorrow night, I drive over to where the major airport is, and I'm flying to Florida on Wednesday. We're going to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game versus the 49ers. Hopefully going to Universal Studios. We've got 14 of us going down. We've got an Airbnb for the whole trip, so it should be a lot of fun, and it's kind of nice to... I haven't been to like somewhere warm in a while. Probably since New Zealand, I guess. So I'm looking forward to that. That being said, I only have this video kind of ready to go, so there's only going to be one video while I'm gone. There's a little bit of a span without one last week, but hopefully when I'm back, I'll be able to get some time into this. I have a bit of work to do when I get back, but I think I'll be able to get a couple days in here, which means all this will be out. Get that bedroom kind of looked at. And yeah, that's a bit of a monster to deal with, but that's neither here nor there. I want it kind of prepped and ready for the new roof, because that's hopefully going on by the end of November. Knock on wood. And then we can, if I get the new roof on, I can start kind of getting the foam in, and I think I'm just going to do tongue and groove on some of these walls. So the vision will start taking shape. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Just kind of a quick check-in. Not much has changed on the camper. I've been a little busy, as I've stated, and the major project isn't really ready yet, ready to be done. So not a whole lot of change for now, but give me a couple weeks and I think we'll have this guy looking a little different. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. All right, guys, take care.